Dijkstra's algorithm. Why? Well, what is Dijkstra's algorithm? It's basically used to find the shortest path, or lowest total, from one vertex to another. And it's for people with too much time on their hands. It's quite a long, complicated process. And that's pretty much all you need to know. I mean, seriously, this is all you need to know. Now, this is from the 2018 exam, and literally, huge amounts of this is just irrelevant. You don't need any of that at all. It just says here the shortest path for Nico from his home to his university. Shortest path, magic words. Shortest path mean Dijkstra's algorithm. Done. Now, it's just possible at this time that you may have actually read the textbook, and you might have seen some long-winded explanation like this about the fourth step and making this horrible diagram. Maybe your teacher taught it to you. Why? Because if you keep reading the textbook, you'll see it says this. It says, it is often easy to find the shortest path between two vertices by inspection. What? So when faced with the choice between Dijkstra's algorithm or an iron-brain combo attack, choose iron-brain combo attack. Just a little disclaimer though. This is a true story. In 2017, a student asked me before the exam about 4-point moving mean smoothing, and I literally said to him, no way, don't worry about it, too complicated, takes too long with all that centering, all good. And then this happened. So, 4-point moving mean with centering. I think the kid did okay. If things do go pear-shaped, don't blame me. I'm going to start a new channel called Mr. Hill Explains Stuff while on the run in Mexico. That's fine because Boris loves a good siesta. But in all seriousness, these things become complicated and difficult to solve. They're best solved by quantum computers or slime molds. I'll try and figure out how to put that link in the thing below. But it's not really going to appear on a Year 12 exam. So we should be safe because they normally ask you to find the shortest path, which can be done by inspection or eye and brain combo attack. And there are all these slightly different versions of Dijkstra's algorithm, so it's complicated even to finish off. You might see in later videos we talk about the Hungarian algorithm, which is often done this way. They give you a few steps and say do the last step, but very unlikely with Dijkstra's algorithm. Okay, so there aren't many questions from past exams that really cover this thing, so they're often hidden in with other questions. I think this is from the 2017 exam. There aren't really many of these. So he's traveling by bus along the route NOS. NOS. How much would by have to pay? Now, we're paying in dollars, so it's complicated maths for 1 mark. 15 plus 105 is, don't forget your dollar sign, 120. Now, if by takes the cheapest route, and that's really when we're starting to talk about Dijkstra's algorithm or iron brain combo attack, copyright Mr. Hill, to get from N to S. Now, what I normally do is just draw a line straight through the middle. You know it is not going to be that one we just talked about. It's never going to be that one. If we draw that line right through the middle, we've already got ourselves down to 100 if you add all those up. So 30 plus 40 plus 30 is 100. So that's already less than 120. And then you just have to consider alternatives. So 15 and 20, that gets to P in 35. We don't want to do that because we're already at P at 30. We could go 15 and 75, but that seems really bad. So again, not good. Then we can go 30 and 55. That's going to be 85 to get to P. Terrible. What other combinations could do? 30 and 20. That's 50 to get to R. Wait a minute. That's pretty good because this part is 70. So if we look at this, the cheapest route looks like being this one here. All right. Just to finally check, if you think about it, this line here is 60, whereas this line is 20 and 30. So definitely looks like our best route, our cheapest route is going to be this to this to this. And if you actually read the question, fun fact, read the question, it says which other towns will be you pass through? We've passed through Q and R, so the answer is Quigley and Rosebush. Now, I think what happened on this thing, everyone just wrote N, Q, R, S, and if you look at the examiner's report, it'll say like, we accepted that. I think so many people did that they accepted that. So actually the cost, just to remind ourselves, is 30 plus 20 plus 30, which is just $80. Now, just for completion, let's do part C. Now we've got Euler's formula here. You might notice that's not in the form you've probably been used to. You might have had something that was like V plus F minus E equals 2. It's the same thing. They like to do that in exams just to freak you out. Surprisingly successful tactic on unprepared students. So Euler's formula, V is for vertices. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't forget the one on the outside, 7. That's coming up in another much shorter video soon. And edges. Now what you do is you just like put a mark on the ones you counted so you don't miscount them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. Look, 6 plus 7, that's 13. 11 plus 2, that's 13. 13 does equal 13. All good. A lovely self-checking question. I love those self-checking ones so you can come out and feel nailed it, got the number right. Okay, this is from the 2015 exam too. And it says, what is the cost in dollars of installing the cable between servers L and M? I mean, okay, $300? That was so easy. I literally had to double check, like, seriously? That was what they're asking you? There you go, 1 mark right there. Exams in the past, not always as hard as you think. Now we have to get from K to N for the lowest cost, and that's Dijkstra's right there. So you could try out a route. Now look, there's a 600 and a 480, but I like this. We've got a 440 and a 480. That looks pretty good because you're avoiding this 600, which is terrible. 500 doesn't look really as good. You just add those two up. That is actually the answer. See how good the eye and brain combo attack is. And if you've got an older sibling who did further maths in the past going, oh, it's so much easier now. Seriously, have a look at this question. That easy, done, 2 marks. Okay, so we're walking along the edge of each cable in one continuous path. Tricky language, but they're trying to tell you Euler trail. Here you're going along every edge. Euler, every edge. It's that E thing, yeah? And we want to avoid walking on the cables more than once. At which vertex should the inspector start and where should the inspector finish? So remember with Euler trail, 0 or 2 odd vertices. Quite likely they're asking that situation. So let's work out the degree of the vertex. That's 2, 4, 2, 4, 3. There's one of them. 2 and 5. So the answer is P and N. You could have said N and P. There you go. All done. Easy peasy.